Today on PC, the Bard will be getting a pretty good buff with regards to his healing, specifically within zone content, where you essentially want to help people, let's say, get through content despite not being in a party with them. You can see, for example, we can now heal entities that are not in our party. When you're within a trial, the other party was considered your party, and thus you could actually heal them with powers which said they could only heal party members. Now, one power that's going to remain only healing party members is Defender's Minuet. Everything else pretty much can heal outside of your party. You can see the chicken's getting healed by our Rejuvenating Carol, and our Sheltering Etude can also proc on it and heal as well. So overall, that's a very good buff and will help you to be able to heal people when you're doing, let's say, heroic encounters and running around in those zones. A very unfortunate thing is they are changing the Watler companion. I thought this would have been a good improvement, but they've actually gone and changed it. So now instead of giving a 7.5% buff to deflect, it's splitting it between movement speed and deflect. And we can see this on the live server where I run it with my tank, and it's giving me a nice boost to my deflect, 7.5%. And I'm pretty annoyed about this change. You've literally gone and stripped down the deflect, halved it, and then added on some useless movement speed. Not saying it's overly useless, but I didn't rank up this companion to give me movement speed. I ranked it up to give me deflect. And now you're throwing movement speed at me and reducing my deflect. And they're doing this, as you can see on screen here, because of it giving the double adventuring accreditation gained from Portobello's campaign, and this campaign being vaulted now makes this companion's effect useless. But I don't care about that. I never did. I cared about the deflect. And now you've up and gone and changed that. With that aside, the companion is still an augment companion, not bad for a tank whatsoever. Combat advantage will help with your aggro, and then awareness defense will help with your survivability. Now, those of you on console will be very happy to know that all these Bard fixes and adjustments will be coming to you guys with today's patch, including the ones allowing you to heal entities outside of your party. Example again, this chicken. We can also see the buffs there on the Neverwinter guard. You can see again on screen here the whole list of those entire changes. Those of you on console will be including a whole bunch of those action point adjustment changes with Flourish, and also your Lore Master actually giving a 50% bonus to songs along with your encounter powers, but we've no heal encounter powers, so that doesn't really affect the healer side. But giving a 50% buff to our Rejuvenating Carol gives that essentially 300 magnitude, so that's pretty great. Otherwise, those of you who have gone and grinded out your blessed weapons will now be happy to note that you should be able to continue to upgrade them all the way, even if you failed, let's say, 3 times and then the streak breaker didn't apply. The Omen of Despair and also the Dragon Hunter Companion should now be properly a claimable account while on all your characters. Some people were still receiving that bug where you couldn't claim them. That was some interaction to do with, weirdly, the Dragonbone Golems, but overall that's pretty much it for the patch notes. Again, consoles will be getting, let's say, our previous patch from last week, including the Bard fixes, and you can see all of them just here, including the Day of the Dungeon Master adjustment. This will be launching today. Feast of Lanterns, ProActress Jubilee. There's all those fixes to the Bard there. Absolutely wonderful. Makes the Bard actually viable to run within content. The adjustment to the deck, a few things. The Balloons Mount fix, Crown of Keldagon, a few adjustments there. And then the lock boxes. And then our artifact modifications being removed. Those ones that were weirdly getting claimed within the mail. And overall, that's about it. But again, pretty pissed that my Watler is going from 7.5% deflect all the way down to just 3.8%. Upon initially reading the patch notes, I thought you just replace, the double amount of adventuring credition and swap in, let's say, some extra movement speed there. That isn't unheard of. Companions giving more stats than just this 3.8% and 3.8%. We have the Companions of the Hall can give up to like 7.5% and 7.5%. Why can't the Watler just be a little bit special there and give 7.5% deflect and 7.5% movement speed? That would be very nice. And the movement speed is not going to break the game in terms of balance of survivability, not necessarily. Movement speed's a little bit helpful, but it's not going to to prevent you from getting one shot by a boss mechanic, whereas your extra defensive stats will. But again, enough said. Development on the Bard so far has gone really well. It's just very unfortunate this guy wasn't there when they actually worked on the Bard in the first place. There was so much more they could have done, and they could have done all of these fixes right from the get-go when they launched the Bard. These bugs weren't unknown back then. But again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.